Tonight, we're pulling back the curtain on something mainstream audiences still don't fully grasp. Artificial intelligence is no longer a future technology. It's already inside everybody's business, every newsroom, and now every major entertainment company. And the people running these companies are facing risks they don't even know they're exposed to. And that's where our story really begins. Because while businesses are rushing to plug AI into customer service, hiring, marketing, and operations, most of them have no idea that the moment their AI spits out something wrong, harmful, biased, defamatory, or inaccurate, they're the ones getting sued, not the AI company. And most insurance policies don't cover any of it. Zero. And we're going to talk about that. But at the same time, the business world is sleepwalking into these risks. The media world is exploding in a totally different direction. The New York Times is now suing Perplexity, one of the fastest growing AI search engines on the planet, accusing it of scraping, copying, and distributing copyrighted work without permission. That lawsuit could decide the future of AI search, journalism, and possibly the internet itself. And if the courts decide against them, everything from Google to ChatGPT could change overnight. Then on the entertainment side, we've got the deal everyone is talking about. Disney and OpenAI are reaching a landmark agreement to bring the entire Disney universe into Sora. This means AI-generated Disney content is about to become real. Disney characters that can talk to you, new stories generated on demand, entire scenes rendered instantly, a total collapse of the line between content creation and consumption. Is this innovation or the beginning of the end of human artists? We're going to get into that as well. And while all of this is happening, Time magazine dropped its Person of the Year, highlighting the people they say are shaping the direction of global AI. Some of them deserve the spotlight. Some of them we're going to talk about. Because if the people steering this technology don't understand the risks, the ethics, or the fallout, then we're headed towards a very predictable disaster. So tonight we're connecting all the dots. Business risk, media legal wars, entertainment transforming overnight, and the individuals Time magazine claims are writing the next chapter of human history. Everything is converging, everything is accelerating, and the people who understand what's coming are about to have an advantage the rest of the world won't even realize they missed. So let's get into it. AI just became Person of the Year. Let that land for a second. Not Trump, not a pope, not a war leader, not Taylor Swift this time, but the people building artificial intelligence itself. Time magazine just named the architects of AI as their 2025 Person of the Year. And the way they explain it, it sounds less like an award and more like a warning label on the entire decade. Here's the exact language Time uses. They say this was the year when AI's full potential roared into view, and there's no turning back or opting out. Their words, not mine. Whatever the question was, AI became the answer. And if that's true, then the people designing, funding, and deploying these systems are basically shaping the rules of reality while the rest of us are just trying to catch up. Today, I want to walk through what Time actually wrote, who these architects are by name, and what this really means for power, politics, jobs, the economy, and your life. And there's one part of their story almost nobody is talking about. Hidden in the middle of the piece that tells you exactly how fragile this whole AI boom really is. We'll get towards that in the end. So, who are the architects of AI? Who are these people on the cover? Time's main image is a remix of that famous 1930s photo, lunch atop a skyscraper. Instead of steel workers, you've got 8 AI power players sitting on a beam over New York City. On that beam, you've got Mark Zuckerberg from Meta, Lisa Su from AMD, Elon Musk from XAI and Tesla, Jensen Huang from NVIDIA, Sam Altman from OpenAI, Demis Hassabis from Google DeepMind, Dario Amodei from Anthropic, and Fei Li, the AI pioneer who now runs a startup called World Labs, KCRA. Visually, the message is simple. These are the people building the next skyscraper the world has to live in. Not presidents, not regulators, not voters. Engineers, founders, and big money investors. Times editor-in-chief Sam Jacobs explains why they picked them. He says this year showed there's no opting out of AI anymore. It's everywhere. Schools, workplaces, healthcare, government. He literally describes a world increasingly defined by AI where these tools can feel like magic 1 minute and deeply unsettling the next. They talk about AI helping with medical research, solving long-standing problems in science, even outperforming older hurricane prediction models. And at the same time, they warn about misinformation, cyber attacks, job losses, and a concentration of power not seen since the Gilded Age. So it's not a fluffy tech hype piece. There's this constant push and pull. Here's what AI can do, and here's what it might break. Let's talk about Jensen Huang for a second, because Time frames him as one of the central figures in this story. He runs NVIDIA, which they describe as the world's most valuable company, and one of the most influential players in AI. Why? Because their chips sit at the bottom of almost everything. Data centers, training runs, all of it. Huang tells Time every industry needs it, every company uses it, and every nation needs to build it. This is the single most impactful technology of our time. Whether you agree with that or not, that's how the architects themselves see this moment. And Time backs it up with numbers. They say usage of ChatGPT alone has jumped to around 10% of the world's population. Think about how fast that is. They describe coding tools like Cursor and Claude Code exploding in adoption to the point where engineers at NVIDIA, Anthropic, AMD, and others now use AI to write huge portions of their own code. At Anthropic, Time reports that Claude writes up to 90% of its own code. At AMD, Lisa Su tells them that 2025 is the year AI became really productive for enterprises. So the architects aren't just building tools for you to use, they're building tools that write the next generation of tools. That's a different level of computing and compounding power. Time also spends a lot of time on the political side of this. They open their Why We Chose Them explainer with a scene from Trump's return to office in January. While all the political elites are at the inauguration, a Chinese AI startup called DeepSeek quietly drops a new model that rattles markets and spooks Silicon Valley. The next day, you've got Sam Altman, Larry Ellison, and Masayoshi Son at the White House pledging up to $500 billion for massive AI data centers in a project they call Stargate. Time also says those 2 days set the tone. Global competition, huge money, and this weird blend of public and private power fusing together around AI. From there, the piece lays out how Trump tears up Biden's more cautious AI rules and replaces them with an accelerationist, quote, AI action plan. They describe $500 billion in data center plans, AI driven missile defense, special breaks in tariff policy for AI hardware, and big contracts going to companies like OpenAI, xAI, Anthropic, and Google. Export controls get loosened in key ways, especially around NVIDIA chips, because the administration wants to keep other countries hooked on US tech while still trying to hold an advantage. That's all straight from the article. So now you've got the architects of AI not just influencing markets, but plugged directly into the US defense strategy, foreign policy, and trade. And time also shows you the other side. China building its own AI champions, from Baidu to new startups like AGBot, and pushing AI into 90% of its economy by 2030 under what they call the AI Plus initiative. It's a full-on arms race, but instead of missiles, the core weapon is computing power and models. So let me pause here and ask you this. If the people sitting on that time cover beam are the ones effectively steering this race, who actually gets to slow it down? Who can say no, or wait, or this is enough? Because what time describes is a world where both Washington and Beijing are now so committed to this path that pulling back would feel like economic suicide. And that's where the article gets dark. It doesn't say in the realm of, wow, look at these cool innovations. There are very human stories baked into it. Time highlights a lawsuit from parents who say their teenage son formed a deep bond with a chatbot, spiraled, and died by suicide. They also show a 15-year-old artist who uses AI as part of her creative process, but is angry that people pass AI art off as hand-drawn, calling it basically the same as stealing art. They show an older man relying on AI companions just so he doesn't feel completely alone. These aren't edge cases. This is what it looks like when technology that powerful collides with real, fragile human lives. At the same time, Time describes huge environmental and economic risks. They report data centers could eat up around 8% of U.S. power demand by 2030, double where it was a few years ago. Hyperscalers like Amazon, Microsoft, Google, and Meta are planned to spend hundreds of billions of dollars just this year on AI infrastructure. One Meta data center project alone is set to use more power than Lower Manhattan. They point out that if not for this AI construction boom, some economists think the US might already be in a recession. So you've got this eerie dynamic. AI is propping up the economy, but it might also be laying the groundwork for a serious crash. Time quotes analysts warning this all has the classic markers of a bubble. Overhyped tech, loose credit, crazy real estate projects, and politicians cheering it on. They give the example of NVIDIA announcing a $100 billion investment in OpenAI, OpenAI then announcing a $300 billion deal with Oracle for data centers, and Oracle filling those data centers with NVIDIA chips. Everyone's valuations jump until markets start worrying that this is just a loop of circular money. Now, here's the detail I mentioned earlier that almost nobody is highlighting. Time notes an MIT study suggesting that about 95% of companies trying to integrate AI right now are seeing no return on those investments yet. At the same time, the labs themselves are taking mass job loss. They quote Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei estimating unemployment could go as high as 20% in the next 1 to 5 years because of AI. And they show Amazon cutting tens of thousands of jobs and planning to replace hundreds of thousands more with robots. So on one side, you have got the pitch. AI will unlock productivity and grow the pie. On the other side, you've got the math time lays out. Debt, power usage, bubble risk, no ROI yet for most companies, and real looming job displacement. How do the architects themselves talk about that? Jensen Huang admits some jobs will disappear, but insists that overall AI will drive productivity, revenue, and eventually more hiring. He even says if you don't use AI, you're going to lose your job to somebody who does. That's the actual quote in the piece. And that hits me because that's exactly how these systems spread. It's not always we want AI because we love it. A lot of the time, it's we feel forced to use AI so we don't get left behind. Time also zooms out and compares this moment to the past Person of the Year picks. They remind us that they've sometimes chosen non-humans before. The personal computer in 1982, Endangered Earth in 1988. Those were moments when a force, not a single person, was driving history. And they're clearly saying AI belongs in that category now. According to their own tradition, the Person of the Year is whoever had the biggest impact, for better or for worse. That's the key phrase. Better or worse. Not nicest. Not most immoral. Most influential. So when they pick the architects of AI, they're really telling you nobody shaped this year more than these people. Not your senator, not your governor, nor whoever is trending on social media today. It's the AI builders. So what do we do with that? That's the question I want you to think about. Time ends their explainer by saying that, yes, these models are trained on our data, on our work, on our behavior. They argue that humanity will determine AI's path forward, and that each of us still has a role. That sounds optimistic, but in the very same breath, their reporting shows the incredible concentration of decision-making in a tiny group of leaders, investors, and politicians who have already decided we're going full speed into this. So here's where I land with all of this. I don't think Time is wrong to pick them. If anything, this is one of the few honest and accurate choices they've made in years. But I also think this cover should make you pause, because what they're really putting on that beam over New York is not just 8 people. It's an entire bet. A bet that this AI boom doesn't blow up the economy. A bet that we can handle mass job transitions. A bet that lonely people using chatbots or kids getting attached to these systems don't turn into a bigger mental health crisis. A bet that governments don't become so dependent on AI that they can't govern without it. If the bet goes well, these architects will be remembered like the early computer pioneers. Controversial, but ultimately credited with building a new era. If the bet goes badly, then this Person of the Year cover might end up being one of those historic, we should have seen it coming moments for people to look back on. So I'll throw this to you. Do you think the Time article got it right? Do you feel like AI and the people behind it shaped your life more this year than any politician did? Or does this feel like the media crowning a group of people who already have too much power? Let me know in the comments how you see it, because this is one of those stories we're all living inside, whether we ask for it or not. And if you want the tools to protect yourself from this mess, links are in the description. Our second story, the Walt Disney Company and OpenAI have reached a landmark agreement to bring beloved characters from across Disney's brands to Sora. So AI just crossed into territory Nobody expected this quickly. Disney has officially opened the door for OpenAI's Sora model to generate videos using Disney characters and worlds. This is real, confirmed by Disney, OpenAI, Reuters, and The Guardian. And the part almost nobody is prepared for is what this move actually signals. Because it is not just a fun tech partnership, it is Disney rewriting how entertainment, labor, and creative control work in the age of AI. If this continues, we are going to see AI step straight into the center of major industries, not in 10 years, not in 5, but now. And I'm going to walk you through exactly what happened, why the studios are terrified, why creators are furious, and why this affects you even if you never watch a single Disney movie. And later in the video, we're going to talk about the part that's hidden in plain sight, the part nobody is really talking about yet. And it's the piece that will hit normal people the hardest. So here is what actually happened. Disney and OpenAI struck a 3-year licensing agreement that gives Sora access to more than 200 characters, props, environments, and iconic visual elements from Disney, also Pixar, Marvel, and Star Wars. This came directly from OpenAI's announcement and Reuters coverage. The videos are short form only, social style, and generated from user prompts. Disney even said curated user-generated AI videos may appear on Disney Plus, which is wild to read because that means AI-generated clips created by regular people could be published on one of the biggest streaming platforms in the world. The Guardian confirmed another important detail up front. The agreement does not include actor likeness or voices. That's the one boundary written into the deal. Disney characters are allowed, but real actors aren't. No AI faces, no AI voices of real performers. It's a clean line they had to draw because the unions just fought a massive battle last year over this exact issue. At the same time, Disney is investing $1 billion into OpenAI as equity, plus financial rights to increase that stake later. And internally, they're rolling out OpenAI tools, including ChatGPT and API integrations across their own business units. This is not some weird testing AI experiment. This is Disney saying AI is now part of how we operate. But the moment this deal went public, the reaction in Hollywood was immediate. Writers groups blasted the announcement, calling it a move that appears to sanction the uncredited use of past creative work in AI training. Variety and Deadline both covered that response. These groups have spent the last year arguing that their stories, scripts, and character arcs have already been ingested into AI systems without permission. Now they're watching Disney pay $1 billion to partner with one of those companies. That is gasoline on a fire that was already burning. There's also another layer. Disney is partnering with OpenAI while simultaneously accusing Google of using Disney content at scale for model training without permission. Reuters reported Disney sent Google a cease and desist. So Disney is clearly drawing a line. If you want our content, you sign a licensing agreement. If you don't, we come after you. That tells you exactly where the industry is heading. Big corporations will cut exclusive deals. Everyone else will be fighting over scraps or fighting lawsuits. And here's where the things start to get uncomfortable. When Disney legitimizes this kind of deal, it sets a precedent. If the biggest entertainment company on earth decides AI-generated content can be licensed, monetized, distributed, and even featured on premium platforms, that changes the entire creative economy. Because now every studio can say, well, Disney's doing it, why aren't we? And that's the moment where you have to zoom out. because this is not only about storytelling or fan videos or Disney Plus. This is about the direction of AI and the systems that run your life. When a company with this size, caution, and legal firepower of Disney decides to integrate AI so deeply, it signals to every other industry that the risk is now worth taking. If Disney is okay with AI generating content with its most valuable IP, your bank, your insurance carrier, your employer, your social platforms, they will follow. They already are, but this kind of move is what normalizes it. Now, here's the part that matters most. Once AI is part of the pipeline, once users start generating clips, once streaming platforms show AI content next to human-made work, you can't put that back in the box, even with guardrails, even with exclusions, even with curated publishing. That is the entry point, and the next version of a deal like this may not come with the same restrictions because now the public will be conditioned to it. And behind all of this is the power shift. Disney now has a financial stake in OpenAI. OpenAI gets official licensed access to one of the biggest IP libraries ever created. And every smaller creator, freelancer, and independent studio is now trying to compete against a machine that can generate a branded video in seconds. That's not a fair fight. The real climax of the story is not the partnership, it's the acceleration. Hollywood has been resisting AI. Artists have been suing AI companies. Unions have been demanding limits. And in one move, Disney stepped over the whole argument and said, "We'll define the rules ourselves." So here's the question I want to leave you with. Do you think this is progress? A structured, licensed, legally clean way to bring AI into entertainment? Or do you think this is a moment the biggest studio on earth quietly told every human creator, AI is here and we're moving forward with or without you? And if you want tools to protect yourself from this mess, again, the links are in the description. Now, our third story, bringing AI to local businesses. This is from OpenAI itself. How a company called Podium is arming 10,000 plus small and medium businesses with AI agents. Podium builds AI software for local businesses such as HVAC providers, auto dealers, and med spas. It helps them increase revenue by capturing and converting more demand and providing better service to their customers. After 11 years working side by side with small to medium-sized operators, Podium saw the opportunity to harness AI and transform how local businesses market, sell, and grow by turning missed calls and slow replies into booked jobs, more revenue, and happier customers. Early experiments with OpenAI in 2020 focused on point solutions like spam filtering and lead enrichment. As models advanced, Podium evolved those tools into an AI agent they affectionately call Jerry that converses naturally, follows business policies, and drives business outcomes by scheduling and confirming appointments or following up across channels. Businesses quickly embraced Jerry, not as a tool, but as a teammate. Many gave their AI agent a name. Some customers even walk into stores asking to speak with Jerry, assuming they had talked to a person. Since launching their initial agent Jerry in March 2024, Podium has developed tens of thousands of agents for local businesses and seen 300% year-over-year AI revenue growth. Podium's AI agents influence billions in revenue by responding in under a minute and delivering 24/7 service, allowing businesses to grow without adding headcount. People assume AI is for big tech, But local businesses need it more than anybody, and they're seeing the biggest impact. Capturing demand at the point of greatest need for local businesses, every lead matters, and many arrive when no one is available. Roughly 40% of inquiries hit after hours. Podium's analysis showed top converters respond in about 2 minutes, while the typical human reply landed in over 2 hours. Missed calls translate directly into missed revenue. An HVAC owner estimated a single lost Saturday lead could cost tens of thousands of dollars. A med spa operator kept her phone in the shower to avoid losing a high ticket appointment. But developing AI agents for speed alone isn't enough. Every business has different services, different tone, and different policies, often shaped over decades. So Podium built AI agents that could be trained in plain language and adjusted on the fly. To keep improving, the team developed a rigorous evaluation framework to measure what mattered: conversion, not just correctness. Automating for scale with GPT 5.1, Podium's next generation of their AI agent, Jerry, uses GPT 5.1 to handle lead capture, scheduling, service request, sales, and follow up quickly and without losing nuance, tone, or context across channels. Owners can update their preferences using natural language, and the system adapts in real time. For example, a med spa customer can write, say, injectable instead of fillers, and Podium's next-gen agent makes the change across each channel without engineering expertise required. The Podium team made 3 key decisions to build Jerry 2.0 to prioritize response accuracy and scale: vertical baselines plus business level tuning. Podium ships tailored agents for auto, home services, aesthetics, and retail that are best in class right out of the box. Each business can then customize the AI to its brand specific tone, playbooks, and workflows to make it a full extension of their business. Cherry uses proven service and sales playbooks to qualify leads, handle objections, and close jobs. When needed, it escalates to humans. Every release runs through thousands of production-like scenarios. In head-to-head evaluations, GPT 5.1 won the majority at 65.4%, delivered 41% lower cost per conversion, and responded 39% faster than competitors. Small business owners don't have engineers on staff. An HVAC owner wants to say, pitch maintenance plans on repairs over $1,000 and see Jerry convert. An auto advisor says, follow up on declined brakes and Jerry books a $400 service. That's managing an employee, not configuring software. Podium's AI agents are live in 10,000 businesses, influencing billions in revenue and driving measurable impact. Customers leveraging Podium AI agents experience, on average, revenue up 30%, lead conversions up 45%, new roles like AI operation leads, redesigned call center functions, and customer experience specialists replacing traditional business development representatives. A large Midwestern auto group saw after-hours bookings grow 80%, capturing sales and service opportunities that previously went to competitors. In HVAC, a Texas shop booked 15 extra emergency repairs in 1 month, thanks to immediate after-hours responses. One med spa owner in Utah says Jerry responds in about 2 minutes, and if the customer doesn't reply, he follows up the next day and again after that. He's driving revenue for our business. Today, AI agents are Podium's fastest growing product line. Internal teams now move faster with AI too. Non-technical staff use ChatGPT Enterprise and OpenAI APIs to create onboarding flows, conversion playbooks, and role play scenarios in hours, not weeks. OpenAI remains Podium's preferred model provider for one reason: it performs. ChatGPT 5.1 delivers the best mix of reasoning, introduction, following, speed, and cost. Minimal fine tuning is needed, and features like function calling and streaming integrate seamlessly into Podium's multi agent stack. Next, Podium is expanding its AI agents into the full life cycle of its customers' operations to continue to drive local business growth. And here's the part no one's talking about. These AI agents slide into a business quietly. They answer calls, they book appointments, they generate revenue. They become invisible employees that never sleep. Jerry is handling leads at 2 a.m, converting thousands of dollars in sales while the owner is dead asleep. It feels like magic until something goes wrong. Because here's the truth. The lawsuits will not come from Podium. They will not come from OpenAI. They will not come from the AI vendors that build these agents. They will fall on the business that deployed the tool: the small HVAC shop, the med spa, the auto dealer, the local owner who thinks they are covered because they pay for E&O or cyber. Insurance, that is. They assume insurance works the same way it always has. But AI is a different animal. Most policies today exclude AI-generated decisions, wrong recommendations, bad scheduling, misquotes, hallucinated answers, unauthorized customer interactions, privacy violations, and automated messages that trigger regulatory violations. If Jerry books the wrong service, misprices a repair, violates TCPA, gives medical guidance, sends the wrong follow-up sequence, or mismanages customer data, the business is the one standing in court, not Podium. And here is the dangerous part. AI is moving faster than the insurance industry can follow. Businesses are adopting this technology before their coverage catches up. And by the time the lawsuit arrives, it is too late to fix the policy. So if you're watching this live and you own a business or you work for a business that is rolling out AI tools, this is the moment to stop and ask one question. Does your insurance actually cover AI? If you do not know the answer, you already have a problem. AI is transforming local operations in ways we've never seen. And the companies that do not get ahead of the insurance gap are going to learn the hard way that innovation comes with liability. You are the reason this conversation matters. If businesses do not understand this, they are exposed. If they think their policy will save them, they're wrong. AI can help them scale. It can also destroy them if they are unprepared. That is the real story. And that is what we cover here